I'm just getting ready to go to the Rosemundy commemoration celebrations, and it does feel somewhat of a celebration. However, there are costs to this, and a small group of us have been campaigning very hard to get justice for these historic forced adoptions.
Young mothers who came here to give birth should have been absolutely tip-top, having a wondrous time and relaxed. Instead, they were given the bum, the hard treatment to make them feel guilty, to brutalise them almost, to having their baby and giving up their baby.
I would like the government to sit up and pay attention. I would like a response from them that's more than just boilerplate. And I'd like to feel that we can engage in meaningful conversation with them and have a proper dialogue about what we need, what they can do for us, and how to take this forward in a way that will benefit everyone.
And I've got a message for government. We have been writing to you for years, and for the past 2 years in particular. And on the 14th of May last year, we were told that Keir Starmer would give us the apology that we deserve. That hasn't happened. We've informed you about the dangers of DES that some of us were given without consent. No response. We have told you we want our records protecting as local government goes into a full-scale reorganisation. No response. And we have told you that we want a dialogue, and so far, no response. This really isn't good enough, and we won't stop.
Some of you will know from 1919 to 1964, Rosemundy House was a mother and baby home, and hundreds of young women gave birth here, often in circumstances very much not of their choosing. And it's therefore not the building, but the experiences of these mothers and babies that this plaque is here to commemorate. And also for those mothers and babies that we're come together today.
I'd like to thank the Old Cornwall Society and the hotel for having the guts to do what the government has failed to do, what so many governments have failed to do so far, Tory governments or Labour governments, and that is to recognise the suffering of the unmarried mothers in the post-war period who were persecuted by the society and by the organs of government and state. This is an historic moment. This is the first plaque and monument which will celebrate those mothers and celebrate those adoptees who were forced, when the mothers were at their most vulnerable moment, were forced away from them, were taken away from them to feed what? As Clive has eloquently said, to feed an adoption market which was developed after the Second World War. So it's recognised that the real criminals in this were not the women who didn't commit any crime, who were persecuted for not committing a crime. The real criminals were the people who took those babies away, who stole those babies, and now it's being revealed that lactation drugs were given. That lactation to stop the mothers being able to breastfeed and therefore to bond with their babies. And this is another scandal which is developing.
If Canada, Australia, all over the world, Wales and Scotland can say sorry, why can't these politicians use it? It's like a dirty 5-letter word to them. For God's sake, realise it happened. It happened in your time. Say sorry, for goodness sake, and put our minds at rest. I was one of the ones that had a little photograph the size of a postage stamp. That's all I had for 50 years until my son found me. I couldn't find him, I wasn't allowed to. And as I say, all these politicians, they should be ashamed of themselves, and they'll recognise trivial things, but not this, and this is big. And it should be realised.
The scandal of thousands of babies taken from their unmarried mothers after the war, a first monument to the victims of forced adoption, is unveiled in Cornwall.
These are the faces of forced adoption, birth mothers and adoptees who endured the pain of unwanted separation. They gathered at what was one of the homes where unmarried women were pressured into surrendering their babies. Around 200,000 babies were taken from their unmarried mothers in the 3 decades after World War II.
This home is one of hundreds dotted around the country where the unmarried women were brought to give birth. Many of those are now in their 70s and 80s and say that their pain should be officially recognised.
This is the first public monument in the UK to the victims of forced adoption. The birth mothers and adoptees say it's time this injustice is acknowledged, so their shame can be diminished.
We've written again and again and again, seeking a robust, realistic dialogue. To date, we received the same lame answer, time after time, letter after letter. We are very sorry for what happened in the past. We will update you in due course. Now, we are raising with our government live issues, and we note in Wales and Scotland and Northern Ireland that action is being taken. And yet we are being held back, not taken seriously, and not really being granted dignity or credibility. We've also written to the Minister to outline a raft of human rights violations, being forced to work, no right to family life. We've written again and again and again. We even wrote to say, please just give us the apology because the women are dying, because they are ageing. No proper response. It is beyond ridiculous that we've got a government that won't respond on these points. And we've reached a point now where, frankly, we're frustrated by it, but also we're incredibly angry that we've got a government that is so tone deaf and unresponsive and won't even meet with us to discuss these issues. So anything that you can do to support us, to support Mar, we would be really, really grateful for. And if anybody wants a copy of the book, I'd be very happy to